I'm like, where? And she's like, McDonald's? Question mark? And I'm sitting here like, it's kind of gross, but I guess.
Okay. I accept.
Hey. Did it work yet? I don't know.
We'll find out.
Have we figured out cameras yet? I don't know, man.
We ain't getting cocky like last time, looking at all the cameras. Oh, woo!
Yeah.
We're doing that shit today.
So we're here. We're out here doing our thing again. Kyle, what happened this week to you?
Well, there's been a bit. Nothing really much happened to me, but I saw a couple things, heard a couple things. So in Canada, our new queen is Bonnie Henry. She decides what we can and cannot do. So she allowed us the privilege of having 10 people meet outside. And I heard that, and I'm like, we've had a cap for how many people can be outside together? That sounds atrocious. I haven't been hanging out with people, but I wasn't about to be like, oh no, there's only 6 allowed outside at a time. You go to that other field. Like that's such a stupid thing. Inside, I get it. You're gonna treat us like you're gonna treat people as if they can't handle what a restaurant can handle in Walmart. Because clearly, those minimum wage workers at Walmart are definitely going by all the rules. But us at home, we're just gonna risk our family members. We're much more likely to be less safe at home. So sure, we'll call it inside. You want to keep the numbers down.
It was pretty tough. I kind of looked at that and I was like, all right. I mean, like you said, I'm not going to hang out with anybody anyway. I'm just staying home. So, like, it doesn't make a difference to me either way. I'm not going to throw a, backyard party anytime soon. So, like, I really don't give a shit.
And if I was, I'm not finally rejoicing. Like, oh, fuck yeah. I wasn't going to invite Paul. But, like, now I can have 10? Okay, Paul, Krista. Okay, we can get both in. We got the numbers now.
Yeah. Your boy across the street. Yeah, you can come now. It's cool.
Yeah, no.
You made it on my list of my top 10.
I was going to bring you hot dogs up to the cul-de-sac. But, like, you're not allowed in the backyard. But you can be across the road from me. Fucking... Oh, God, these restrictions are killing me. Every time I hear somebody tell me what I'm supposed to do, I don't want to do it. Like, it's like, I don't care if it's a pandemic, if
Kyle
it's
and his
sports,
authorities.
I fucking hate authority. I hate assholes telling me what to do. I want to be the one telling people what to do. That's why I enjoy my shift. Like, I work at 3 a.m., but from 3 to 8, ain't nobody's there that can tell me what to do. I'm in charge. So that's the entire reason I get up that early.
That's hilarious. I think for me it doesn't make a difference because like man's a homebody anyways. Like I'm not allowed to go hang out. All right, I guess.
Well,
is what it is.
I guess can I still Zoom with 10 people? Like are we still allowed doing that?
I think it's funny. My lady told me that it's working for me because I'm so extroverted, but I work in a restaurant, so I get all of that energy that I need to like fill myself and stay happy. I get it from just like being at work because there's so many people to talk to all the time that like doesn't make a difference.
Yeah. This helps me just coming out and talking and bullshitting at people. I've started. I'll just when I have my before bed joints. I've just been turning on the phone and start recording and just talking shit for a little bit, and it's been refreshing.
Hey, Kyle's solo podcast coming soon.
Oh,
who knows?
It might be a hot minute. Just working on my articulating.
So what Kyle's saying is that the other night when he got baked and tried to make a podcast before bed, it sounded hella fucking stupid, and he was like, "Nah, I can't release this."
No. Yes, but no. I've done 5 of them, but they're just quick, like 10, 15 minute, just like kind of. I had a couple points that I was thinking about bringing up, and I just wanted to figure out how to say it in the right way, because like I'm getting sick and tired of my kid taking the books away from me when I try and read. I'm getting real fucking sick and tired. She's getting too old.
You can't read, and your kid's like, "Dad, you sound stupid."
She's getting old enough to say no, Mom. By the time she starts reading, she's gonna really surpass me. So I need to work on my out loud articulating.
Oh no!
So
I was actually I was talking to one of the girls at work about people that I think we were on the topic of like shitty dates, And, like, when you're on a date with some... I mean, you don't have any relation to this, Mr. Wifed Up already, but...
Yeah, shitty dates.
They
all end in sex.
We're like... we're on a shitty date, and, you know, the person that you're talking to is just, like, boring as fuck, and they got nothing to say, and, you know, it got me thinking. It's like, yeah, I think I've been there, but I think I pulled through because I can just sit there and talk for hours. And it was like, hey, here we are. I'm still out here just talking for hours. So, yeah, I was able to pull through those days pretty easily. But
I need a brick wall in front of me. That's all I need. You give me a brick wall, I'll keep going. You give me a mirror, I'm going for hours. I'll go 3-4 hours. No problem.
So that conversation I had with that girl at work, though, reminded me of a story that I haven't talked about before.
Juicy.
We're gonna leave out a lot of the juice because we're not out here trying to shade people. We're not like that.
Yeah, but, I feel that.
But the one part of the story that is pretty fucking embarrassing for me. Best believe I'm willing to tell that part.
Okay, good.
So this goes back grade 12. I think we're on a party bus after prom.
Party. Okay.
Oh no! And
I remember moments of that.
And and I remember we're on a party bus, and there was this girl that was trying to dance with me, and I wasn't about it. She was kind of like following around.
I'm slowly remembering.
I was pretty drunk this night, so I don't know. See how much he really remembers. I haven't talked about this in a minute.
Yeah.
Anyways, wasn't about it. And I had kind of like, you know, dips and dodged and ducked and rolled and got away for the most part. And then finally, a prayer was answered. And some random girl that I had never met before made me her first round selection. Grabbed me, started dancing with me, and I didn't have to run anymore. I'm sorry, I'm dancing with her. You know, I didn't dance with her now. I can't dance with you. Sorry, it's not.
It's her time right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd love to.
Easy scapegoat. I dance with all of you if I could, but I can't. And so I was like, I'm safe.
Yeah.
Now, at one point in the night, the bus stopped at McDonald's, and you know. 18-year-old Dustin's kind of a fucking idiot, to be honest. I mean, I know you can make arguments that 28-year-old Dustin's a fucking idiot too, but
18-year-old takes a lot.
I promise, whatever I am now, 18 was worse, like 1,000%. So we go to McDonald's, and I'm so fired up. I'm about to get a McFlurry. Now, the special Dustin McFlurry was a Oreo McFlurry with M&Ms, and I thought it was so fucking funny to be like, this is like sex. This is sex. And just call it sex.
Sex in a cup.
Exactly. Yeah.
You just said that so... Yeah, you were a piece of shit at 18 because you said that often.
So anyways,
you consistently had sex in a cup from multiple different dispensaries.
This is the peak of it. So anyways, I'm like, oh my god, I'm totally getting it. And she's like, getting what? I'm like, I'm getting sex. Don't worry. I'll show you. And she's like... pretty fucking hammered. She's like, all right.
Okay.
Anyways, so I get the McFlurry. I let her have some. She's like, yes, that is in fact good. She confirms that my choice was delicious. And that's pretty much the end of the McDonald's part of that story.
Yeah.
Now, following the next, like, couple weeks, we had been talking or whatever, and she messages me out of the blue one day. And she's like, we should go have sex. And you know, I'm 18, I'm like... well, hello, Kobe. I think I'm nice. I'm like, hey, I didn't even try that time. Hey, we're blessed, right? We're blessed. Well, anyways,
this guy's got his...
I didn't realize she's talking about fucking ice cream. I promise you that. I did not think she was talking about ice cream. Spoilers for Ed. Anyway, so I'm like, down. But then I'm like... living with my mom still, not sure when the coast is clear, and then she was living with her parents. I'm like, I'm down, but like, where though? She's like, kind of confused by this response because you know she's talking about McDonald's. She's like, I'm like, where? And she's like, McDonald's? Question mark? And I'm sitting here like, it's kind of gross, but I guess.
Okay. I accept.
I'm like, that's pretty fucking nasty.
You
But
could have said anywhere. Anywhere. We're going downtown chill at McDonald's. You're talking midnight, homeless guy in there with us. We're in. I'm in. Men's bathroom, women's, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so anyways, I'm kind of like,
this is...
I'm like, it's kind of gross, but I guess so. Like, I don't know. Beggars can't be choosers, right? Yeah. And I did. She does.
I just keep picturing you showing up.
Okay, so like after I said, that's kind of gross, but okay, and she's like, "What do you mean?" After she says, "What do you mean?" I'm sitting there like, and I'm like, I'm so embarrassed. I'm like, "Oh, you meant ice cream?" And she's like, ... That is it. Just like a little ellipses, and I'm just like,
Well, I played that cool.
I'm like, yeah, ice cream sounds good. Worst part is we never got ice cream.
No, there is definitely no way she's showing up to the ice cream joint waiting for you.
She's like, why would I talk to this guy? He thought I asked him to have sex in a McDonald's bathroom. That's disgusting. What kind of fucking animals are we?
What does he think I am?
It was pretty tough.
That was a classic miss around.
But you know what? The worst, I did it to myself, you know?
Oh, all of you. That's all of you. 100%. You set yourself up from the beginning.
Played myself. Yeah, so took an L. But you know what? We wear these off the chin and we move on with our day.
Yeah, that's a good one. I haven't heard that one. Like most of the ones that I haven't heard are from like when you're in Abbey, like any of that stuff. You kept that on the download. You have your Abbey guys. They know their secrets. But I'm not in on those ones. But I haven't heard. Hearing a new Chilliwack one is nice.
Podcasts are really helpful.
Yeah.
Clearly.
That's what I'm saying. Eventually, I will articulate it all. This is the problem. I didn't smoke weed before this. I gotta try. If I was smoking weed, I could say anything. I have an English accent, actually, once it comes out. But speaking of bathrooms, so our boy sent us a pic. It's this.
Pause.
Yeah.
Pause.
Wait.
Can I take a shot in the dark and say it was Max? Because he's the only one that sends body pics for no reason. This guy's in the gym all the time.
You don't need a shot in the dark. It's Max.
Yeah, our boys in the gym all the time send you like an unsolicited body pic. You're like, dude, don't care. Why are you sending me this?
But this one wasn't of him. It was at his work. I guess they're renovating the bathrooms.
Okay.
And it just got me thinking because it's they're making it a gender neutral bathroom. So basically, there's a sign. It's got the handicap signal on one side. It's got the other side's got the circle with the male, female, and I'm assuming other or transgender. I don't know what that symbol is. Just
nice.
Shot in the dark. Then underneath it's got Braille. I'm assuming it says the same shit. Don't know.
No, the Braille is like the secret ending that no one gets to see unless they're fucking blind.
Yeah. But I'm looking at this and I'm like, did we need to write all that, or could we just say bathroom? It's 2021. If it's a gender neutral bathroom, that just means it's a bathroom. Anybody can go in. Anybody come out. Don't put a dress on one. Don't put a man on the other. Just make it a fucking bathroom.
Right? That's the thing. It's like bathrooms say like men because they don't want women in there. They say women because they don't want men in there. When you put like a sign that has everything, I'm not thinking, oh, that's for everyone. I'm thinking, okay, so who's not supposed to be here?
Yeah, like, can I come in?
Should I be looking for somebody?
Like I said, I'm guessing on these symbols. Like, I don't know if those are me. Like, this might be a Wiccan. Like, witches and warlocks and handicaps are only. Or maybe, like, one of those is for, like, because they got Braille. Maybe one of them's for, like, deaf people. If you got a seeing eye dog. I don't know. But I see this. But, like, yeah, they should just be a bathroom.
Yeah, what happened to just a bathroom? Like,
because it's crazy, because even the fact that a lot of the gender neutral bathrooms get backlash. They're like, oh, but then like transgenders are gonna be in there, and I don't know if they want blah blah blah. But it's like, I don't think like for normal people, for me, the only thing I have an issue with is that I don't want to hear a girl blowing out this bathroom stall beside me. B, I don't want to have a girl hear me blowing out the bathroom stall. So that's the only part that I don't want. I don't give a fuck who else is in there. Like if I'm in a men's bathroom, I'm pinching it off until the person gets out of the fucking room so I can finish off. Because I'm not about making the loud displays to everybody. We ain't having no battle shits. So when you have the gender neutral and everything, now you have everybody all in the same spot.
There was a dude I knew I met in high school. I didn't actually know him, but he was a pretty popular guy. Coincidentally, he was the Moet kid that had cancer. So
didn't hear his name.
Anyways,
hopefully he made it. That caveat.
So he was friends with a lot of my buddies that were older than me. He seemed like a nice guy. Never really talked to him except for this one time. I was like fresh to the school, like I had been there for like 2 weeks, and I went to the washroom, and he like came in behind me. He's like, "Hey man," and he's just like super friendly, and I'm like, all right, like I'm not gonna just be like rude to somebody for no reason, especially for being cool. I mean, it was a little sus. It was in the washroom, but like he goes into the stall. He didn't pull up next to me so he could look at my dick. So I was like, hey, whatever. Like,
yeah.
Hey, bro.
Saying hi.
Yeah, like whatever. Say hi. Why not? I'm not gonna be an asshole.
That's the first red flag. When he's that comfortable walking in the bathroom, you know shit's about to go down.
And so we're having like a small conversation, which I'm like kind of irked by because he starts taking a shit. So like I'm kind of like a little apprehensive to talk to him, but like I did respond to him. Yeah. And then as soon as somebody walked in the room, I was like we're talking. I was literally in the moment, like it was I was the one talking at the time, and I'm like saying something, and that person like walks in and they go up to the pisser, and I like finish what I'm saying, and he doesn't respond. And the guy kind of like looks at me, and I'm like, "You good in there?" And like the guy like finishes peeing. It's so quiet. And he like looks under the stall. The motherfucker raised his feet so you couldn't see him. I'm just like that new kid in school. This guy played me.
You fell for the shot.
He played me. I was like, yo.
That is a bathroom season vet. I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, he irks me so bad. I was like, what the fuck?
Please tell me when the man's left, he is... Hey, so yeah, we were just kept going on with the combo.
I wish it was an ending like that, but like the guy like didn't even get a chance to leave, and I was like, man, fuck this, and I just left.
I gotta leave before he recognizes
me. I was
me.
like, I'm not letting him have that satisfaction of seeing my face. I got there so fast.
Yo, bro, you good?
Like the other guy was like,
dude, sing the shit, shut the fuck up. Let him do his business.
It's just like the other guy that walked in was just like, he just like, well, you're talking to somebody, whatever. But there's like no response. He's like looking at me like, whose man's is this? New kid's fucking talking to ghosts out here.
New kid really fucked up.
The part that really got me that I knew that I've been had was just the expression the guy gave me once he looked, saw no feet, and then he sits up and looks at me, and he just like walked out, and I'm like, fuck. Pretty tough. I had another washroom incident once. Another L on my part. Wasn't as embarrassing, but felt like an asshole. I was like walking through the halls one day, and it was like in the middle of the class. I was just like trying to like kill time because I didn't want to be in class. Yeah, pretty standard. Most people can relate.
Most school days.
And so I'm walking through the halls, and I see my buddy pass me like across our cafeteria area, and I was like, "Yo!" And I yelled at him. And he doesn't respond. I'm like, yo, who's this bitch ignoring me? Who's this guy right now?
Big league.
So I fucking boogie on over there, and I go up to like pull behind him, and I see him walk in the washroom. I'm like, yeah, that's how it is, huh? And so I had like yelled at him like 3 times. He just kept ignoring me. I was like, yo, fuck this guy. And so I had a water ball in my head. So I go into the washroom. Oh, no. I'm like, yo, let's call him Kevin. Yo, Kevin. And I throw water over the stall at him. Yo, it wasn't Kevin. It wasn't Kevin. And I just remember it was like some like kid, like I was grade 12. I think he was a grade 10. Just some kid I've never seen in my life. And he just like opens the door like,
what the fuck was that?
Why did you do that? Like, he's like, what the fuck, man?
The name's Josh. Could you simmer down?
And so I'm sitting there like, oh, I'm really sorry, dude. I thought you were my boy. Clearly you're not. I'm really sorry. And I just like...
I'm gonna leave now.
I just like scrammed out of there. Worst part was I had never seen that kid before. I promise you, I saw him every day for the next 2 months.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
Every day I walked through the halls, I saw him, and the same thing. We'd be walking by, and I would just see him glare at me like... like, he would just fucking...
Yo, you got water on you? What's going on here?
This guy would stare me down every time. I'm like, man, a fucking asshole threw water on some grade 10 in the shitter. Like, let the man be.
Shattered his confidence right off the bat.
That was tough, you know?
So there's no real transition here, but the next thing on the docket I had was talking about the Grammys.
Oh, man.
No, I don't know anything about the Grammys. I don't pay attention to that at all. But the part that I care about is Bill motherfucking Burr. My boy, the comedian.
Bill Burr.
So he's on there. I guess he was hosting part of the Latin American...
Who would even know? Because none of us fucking watched it.
Nobody watches the Grammys.
I can promise you that.
It's the stupidest show there is.
Before you get going, I did hear some stats about the Grammys, and like... I think, like, they had been declining, and, like, 2017 was, like, their low peak, and they had, like, 16 million viewers. This year, I didn't even know the Grammys happened until they were over. Yeah. I, like, saw, like, the Weeknd's tweet, like, fuck the Grammys or something like that, but I didn't hear anything about it. And apparently they did, like, 6 million. So, yeah. Like, they plummeted this year.
And those 6 million are probably just people recording it. And their PVR automatically switched to the channel while they were watching Netflix on the other screen. Because that's their view that we gave them. But the only reason I knew they were on was because Bill Burr was getting canceled mid fucking show. Because he was racist, because he so he's a Latin American artist, and he announced the winner, and he didn't know how to pronounce the name, and he's basically like, hey, this is this person, I don't actually know how to say this last name, I'll try, I'm gonna butcher it, my bad, but this said her first name, and then like, sorry, just fuck it, I couldn't figure out the name, and then he just does his normal jokes about white women and shit, but he gets he's getting chastised, call him a racist and all this stuff.
Wait, for what though? Just because he couldn't say the name?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, and
that's racist.
And now here's the thing that it kind of it started dawning in my head when I saw this, because anybody that looks up Bill Burr, he's married to a black woman. He has mixed race kids. Pretty clear he's probably not a racist at that point. But on the other side of it is the idea of him getting canceled. I had to search up, like, go on Twitter, go to the trending, find his name, then just go look through to find anybody that was actually trying to, like, say he should be canceled. He did something wrong. The only things that were actually popping up on my newsfeed or anything that came from a blue check mark was people basically saying, like, defending him. And those always get all the retweets, all the likes. But the people that are actually saying that he should be canceled have like 5 followers. They get 5 likes or 2 retweets, and then all these famous people see that it's trending. They post something defending it, and then that gets all the traction. Now the news article is that Bill Burr is getting canceled. Look at these people defending him. If they didn't say anything, they didn't try and defend him at all, nobody would have noticed those people's tweets.
Honestly,
like when I tweet, I have some tweets that are pretty fucking funny. They got 1 to 2 likes because nobody fucking follows me. Like, if I had some famous comedian be like, "Oh, that joke wasn't funny," I'd get fucking crazy amount of followers.
Shameless plug.
Because of that. Just saying, I'm fucking hilarious. But the thing with it is that that's pretty much what cancel culture is, because there's the people that get fired and charged, like the Weinsteins and like the Cosbys, all those kind of people that
the Pepe Le Pew.
I don't even know isn't that a
Pepe Le Pew?
Isn't that the skunk from
yeah,
Looney Tunes?
super rapey skunk from Looney Tunes.
Yeah. You can't cancel a fake thing.
Like, but they can stop using it.
You can stop watching.
His whole personality is pretty problematic. But when you said Harvey Weinstein, I thought of him. So I mean, there's the brain connect. There's a brain connection. I have.
Either way, fake people or real people, if they're doing shit that actually is like raping people and doing all that stuff, that gets canceled, and that's something that goes to trial and does everything else. But pretty much everybody else that gets canceled for words that they say, all it is a bunch of no-names saying they're upset. People blow it out of proportion, and then those people keep doing what they're doing anyway. There's no real canceling. It's just people talking about it all the time.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. I feel like most people are like pretty over cancel culture, but there's just those few loud people that keep making it a thing.
Yeah,
and this thing, you say once, it's like all these like sports commentators. You say one obnoxious take, and their take was like, "Oh, this is offensive." Take one obnoxious take, and then everyone just gets triggered by it and starts talking about it, and down the rabbit hole we go.
and that's the thing with that as well, is that those people that are getting upset by it don't realize that all they're doing is making people watch those people more. Because when I hear something, like when I heard that Bill Burr did something wrong, I started looking up to see what he did, and it shows me even more of the funny shit that he does on the side anyway. So I'm seeing more and more of him. So if I didn't know Bill Burr, I would now know that he has a podcast, that he does all these interviews where he doesn't give a fuck about what people say. He had an interview where they're like, "Oh, you're getting canceled for this or that." He's like, "I don't know. I don't fucking watch this. I don't go on Twitter to see if I have a good career. I go to my sold out arenas. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm not canceled." So like you see that kind of stuff. Now he probably gets more popular every time they try and cancel him.
Well, I'm just like, I don't know who Bill Burr is, but I'm probably gonna look him up now.
Yeah,
he's got another viewer.
He's fucking hilarious. Like I listen to multiple podcasts of his. He has tons of comedy specials. But that's what I mean. It gets people talking about it, and then you'll watch him. You'll either like him or you won't. But he's still gonna get that view. He has more eyes now because of it. It's just cancel culture is retarded. It's
kind of like that. Was it Eminem? Eminem was canceled like 2 weeks ago or something like that because he says like offensive things. I was like, damn. I feel like everyone in our generation had the same reaction. It was like, he's been saying this. What are you talking about? And no one's tripping over Chris Brown, who's still making lots of money. He actually beat the shit out of his girl. Like, Eminem just talks. I mean, he probably did beat up his girl. I think they had a very mutually abusive relationship, from what I understand. But at the end of the day, Chris Brown literally left Rihanna, like, fucking swollen shut. Yeah. And everyone's like, singing his songs. Like, Eric's when I was trying to think of a song, but I couldn't. At least you had one.
I had one on tap. Don't worry. But yeah, with the Eminem one, this was the first one where I was like, okay, I get it. Like the old generation when millennials like us and then Gen Z started canceling things, they're starting to say this is problematic, like the "Baby It's Cold Outside" and different things like that. They're like, we've been listening to this our entire lives and we've never thought of it that way. So for you guys to come in and say that this is a problem, to me, that's not fair, because my entire life I've listened to it and it's not that way. That's what these Gen Zs are. If they're hearing it for the first time in this kind of culture, anything Eminem said back then, if he was saying it now, he would never have gotten as big. So it's the first time where I'm like, holy fuck, I'm old. I'm a full generational away from what is actually like popular opinion.
Yeah. I think for me, where I feel like there's a bit of a distinction. So like when it comes to the idea that I've been listening / watching / doing something for so long, like whatever, like I'm just being very general about it.
Yeah.
If that's what's happening and I'm just recently realizing that it's wrong, the idea that I'm fine with it, so it should be fine, so it's okay, that doesn't really have much weight to me, because that is problematic thinking, and that goes into the whole like you know, this is why our culture's toxic for these reasons. That's how you change culture, by identifying things that are problematic. I think the thing is what is the topic? Like, if we're talking about having a cartoon character like Pepe Le Pew, I understand that having a cartoon character that aggressively sexually harasses, you know, female characters and doesn't accept no for an answer and just like forces himself on people, I understand that that's problematic, and I don't need him in my life. That can be...
I'd like to quote one verse from Eminem. Fuck you with an umbrella, open it up while that shit's inside you. He has so many things that fit your exact box, but we both agree he shouldn't be canceled because it's just something that's being said.
So since you wanted to jump ahead on my point, yes, things that aren't problematic, that don't make a difference, like Eminem saying offensive things that are pretty, you know, vulgar and aggressive and violent, just because he says these things doesn't mean I give a shit, or do I think it's problematic, because I don't think Eminem's lyrics and Eminem's attitude is even remotely considered a widely accepted thing. He's a controversial asshole for a reason. He always has been. That's been his brand since day one. Like,
okay.
So, like, I don't look at Eminem as problematic. I think he's just the guy that started, like, the ratings boards and stuff because he was saying fucked up things that maybe kids shouldn't listen to. Do I agree with anything he's done in his life? Not really. Cool, he's rich, he made a rap career, but, like, do I want to have his life? No, he's been through some shit. He's kind of an asshole from what I've heard. I've heard maybe it's getting better these days. I don't know shit about Eminem.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I called my buddy and he's like, yeah, Em's getting better.
Yeah, I don't know. I assume things are getting better. He's getting older, but like...
Yeah, Toronto, Detroit, they're right there. You pretty much know them.
Yeah, well, I figure like I would have heard more fucked up headlines over the last 10 years if he was still doing fucked up things.
Yeah.
But you don't hear about him. Ever. He just, like, every now and then he'll have a new track or something. That's literally all you ever hear about Eminem, so, like, I don't care.
I hear a lot. He's had, like, 6 albums in the last, like, couple of years. But, anyway, it doesn't matter. It's
like
not,
3 songs
you don't hear the same, like, what you're saying. You don't hear him, like, having an abusive thing, having a fight here. You don't hear him doing shit that would actually put the words in his songs to real life. There's nothing that transcends that area. And
that's the point. The point is if it's something that perpetuates a bad culture, I agree that maybe we should go back on it, like a cartoon character that acts like that. But if it's something that isn't perpetuating shit, because no one wants Eminem's culture, no one looks at him for relationship advice, no one looks at him for shit, we're not perpetuating culture by listening to Eminem. We're just listening to Eminem. Eminem's his own thing. So I don't give a fuck if it's offensive or if it's problematic, because it doesn't make a difference. It's not affecting our culture that way.
Okay, in that way, and I'm just trying to understand this. But we look at Pepe Le Pew for the culture. Like
he's a cartoon character. Kids look at the way he acts and think it's normal. Normalizing that kind of thing in small boys is problematic.
I don't even know where to go with that. I've never ever looked at it and be like, oh, this is my guy.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that he's like an iconic character that everyone looks to, but when you have guys like that, when you have, I'm trying to think of other characters that are like that, guys like Steve Stifler or Quagmire, not necessarily, once again, not the guy everyone's looking to, but characters that act like this and are, predators towards women in that capacity. If kids look at this and think this is just how guys act, you subconsciously think that that's okay and think it's normal. You don't look at that and think, oh, that's fucked up. Kids grow up thinking it's whatever.
Well, for me personally, when I saw it, like especially with like Steve Stifler, I looked at him as the outlier. Like everybody else in American Pie, I loved them. Growing up, they were fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But everybody in the group, they'd always have packs of like, we want to lose our virginity, we want to do this, we want to do that. But they would do it in their own way, and it ended up, it never was like super whatever. But Stifler was always the one on the outside that I was like, look at this fucking idiot. He's getting all the girls, but nobody wants to hang out with him. Nobody wants to be around him. So in my opinion, on that, like for him, I don't know if this was your main point anyway, or you're just using it as an example. But he was always looked at, in my opinion, as the guy you didn't want to be. He gets girls, but he doesn't know them. He gets all these people to be around him, but it's because he has a nice house. Nobody wants to be around him. They want to be around his money. He gets to go on the trip because he has the cabin. Like it always has like the connotation. So I don't know Pepe Le Pew enough. I assume it's always he's only doing what he's doing, and there's never a backstory for it. So in that context, I could understand it's not showing him as being the one that loses in the end.
Yeah, and so to your point, I totally get that, because in Steve Stifler's case, that's exactly right. That's kind of like the premise of the character is that, you know, he's an asshole and people hang out with him because they've known him for so long, but they're kind of like, dude, like, when are you going to grow up? Because you're right, he has all the cool stuff, so they go to his parties and stuff on Lake Michigan, like all that cool stuff, but he's just an asshole. So, like, are they really his friends, or are they using him? That's definitely a big part of his character. But I guess the underlying point that I was making was, but we grew up thinking, oh, Stifler, he's just like that. Whereas, and in the same case, if one of our boys is like always trying to get girls drunk and trying to prey on them, should we really be hanging out with people that are predators? Probably not. But over the last 20 years, have we known guys like that? Probably. And have we just been like, oh, Joe? I don't know who Joe is, but do we
That
just like,
fucking guy.
fucking Joe, he's such a dick, but he still comes over and hangs out with us. So, like, that kind of concept of it's just like, okay, and we just like let those guys just do their thing without holding them accountable, that's where you talk about problematic culture.
Yeah,
now, is that something that we personally deal with? Not really, because we don't really hang out with people like that.
This is always where I get lost. Is like, I always have this argument with Brittany too, because I don't know any of these people. So it always fucks with me, because I'm like, these aren't real people. Like, I've never heard of anybody like this. And then you see how many times all this shit happens everywhere. Yeah. And it always fucks with my head, because I don't even realize that they're real. I
think the scary thing too is you got to consider they might be people you don't realize. And ultimately that is another layer to the issue, is that maybe, I'm just going to throw myself under the bus for the sake of having a name, maybe I act like that and you just don't know, but that's how I picked up all my girls in the past. Obviously it's not true, duh, but like that could be a thing. And how would you know? Because it's like, oh, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Because we're so normalized to that throughout the 2000s and everything we've seen beforehand, that's just like guys trying to pick up girls. Like we grew up on Superbad. Superbad was one of my favorite movies ever. But what is a core arc of that movie? Trying to get Jules drunk so that she'll have sex with me, because she wouldn't have sex with me if she was sober. And what is Evan doing? Evan's like, hey, the girl I want to have sex with is already drunk. Let me spend 10 minutes in the bathroom getting drunk myself so I can justify raping her, because she can't consent when she's loaded. And what happens? They don't even get to have sex because she's so drunk she pukes on him.
Yeah.
And then what's Fogel do? He gets with another drunk girl that's plastered, and he's the same thing. I don't even think he does get hammered. I think he's just like, nice, let's go upstairs and let's have sex. So that whole movie's premise that we love, I still love and idolize. I don't know if I idolize it, that's a strong word, but I still love that movie because it's such a big part of my childhood. The main core arc of that movie, of the three main characters, is hooking up with a drunk girl.
Yeah.
Which is technically illegal.
Well, it's like, I don't know anything about hooking up with drunk people. Like, I don't know anything about it yet. Again, something I never really experienced. But like, is it? How do I word this? Is it for sure predatory that they were going? I don't even know. I don't even want to bring it up because I literally don't even know what I'm talking about.
I think I know where your brain's going, and it's that concept of the double standard. I think is, you know, is it rape if the guy was drunk too? You know what? I think if that's something that's an element of a situation, and you're both drunk and you both have no idea what happened, I think there's an element where it's not necessarily rape, and you could say, yeah, I don't know what happened. The thing is you don't really know 100% in those situations unless you know what's up in someone's head. Yeah. Unless you know what their internal motivation is or the thoughts that they had, which you never can, then you don't know. The reason why I say in Superbad that it's not really a gray situation, you can tell.
Because it set it up. They orchestrated this whole thing.
They almost verbalize their intentions that they're trying to get these girls drunk. And like even the emphasis on the scene of him being like, I just gotta drink more to get drunk so I can do this.
Well, but For that one, like, yet again, I don't really remember the scene properly, but she was trying to get with him. Like, she was the one doing it all. And he was drinking. He was drinking so that he could have the courage to do it with her. I don't think it was that he was like, oh, she's way too drunk and she doesn't. Like, I don't know what it was exactly, but she was wanting him, and she got drunk specifically so that she'd be more okay with getting with him. Yeah, I think there is an element there, so I'm not going to disagree with that. So, but I guess I more so understand what you're saying with the Pepe Le Pew and that kind of context. Get it? I'd say not getting rid of them, because I think getting rid of them makes it sound like they're gone in culture. Mm-hmm. Because, like you said, there are people like that. You don't even know that they're there. But having the story arc where those people don't win. See, that's probably the big thing, is that they've always won in the past. And what's really interesting, actually, is I saw a thing saying that they were taking Pepe Le Pew out of the new Space Jam movie, which the person that was in the scene with him, the actress, I don't remember her name, look it up if you care, she actually said she wished they didn't cut it. Because in that scene, Pepe Le Pew makes advances at her, and apparently she, smacks him or something, and they have, a talk about, a little thing about consent. You can't just grab people. Yeah. And, they do exactly that. They take it to the place where it should be, where they discipline him. Yeah. But they cut it anyway just because of the internet pressure. So I feel like that's kind of lame. I feel like knowing that backstory, maybe it would be worth keeping, but that's the thing. Silencing things doesn't get rid of them. That just makes them grow in silence. Hopefully the same isn't for Donald Trump, but I guess we'll see in the future. Well, he's getting silenced right now. I can't imagine. Well, I think he's going to be able to get back on Twitter, but they said something about him getting back on Twitter. But if he runs for presidency, then he'll get blocked again. And it's that's the definition of tampering. That's I don't understand how they play with the rules like that. But, that's tough. I don't give a shit about Donald Trump or Joe Biden or fucking Justin Trudeau. On a much lighter note, so I had a complaint at the restaurant this week. Oh. Yo, tell me how this guy, he orders a mac and cheese. It's a fat baked pasta. This guy takes 2 bites of it. And he's like, nah. And you're like, oh damn! What happened? Was something wrong with it? Too cheesy. What? Bro, what? Yo, want mac? This guy ordered mac and cheese and says too cheesy. I mean, exactly. You want more mac? What do you mean too cheesy, bro? I have never heard that in my life. That's the goal of mac and cheese is to have extra cheese. Yeah, you make sure you have as little amount of milk in there as you can so the cheese sticks to the noodles better. Yeah, I was just all right. The thing is when you have complaints that are that stupid, that this person's just an absolute idiot. Yeah. It doesn't even. There's no investigation that's required. Another situation, this lady, she gave me her salad. She's like, "There's mold on it." It wasn't mold. It was blue cheese. She didn't realize there's blue cheese in the salad. So we can kind of look at it and be like, "Oh, that's what it is." You can get to the bottom of it. So there's some kind of conclusion. Try and fix it for you anyways, but just so you know, you didn't eat... Yeah, you didn't have moldy lettuce. We didn't serve you moldy food. We served you blue cheese, which I guess technically has fungus on it or something. Yeah, mold, it is mold. But yeah, but it's not the same edible thing. Yeah, it's not the same thing. But, when it's that stupid, there's no conclusion. It's just okay. I'll let the chef know. You want me to take this away? Sure. No problem. I'm not going to give you anything for free. You're an idiot. But. Yeah. Do you want some water? I don't know if you like flavor, so I don't want to offer you a soda. Yeah. I've been shaking my head about that for the last 24 hours. Yeah, that's a tough one. That's not even trying because if you don't want to pay for something we have all been there, fuck it, I'm not really hungry anymore, but I don't want to pay for the whole meal. You put in a hair, you do whatever you need to do. Kyle, you're exposing yourself. I don't do it anymore. I'm not that poor. You don't have any anymore. Yeah, fucking cancer. No. But no, you do something, you come up with some kind of excuse, you drop it, or you do anything. But to say the mac and cheese is too cheesy... that just shows how lame of a person that is. They weren't even willing to come up with a fun idea of what to do. Yeah. Pretty fucking tough.
Kyle, we had some serious sports news this week.
So ta-ta for now, Britt. It was nice seeing you.
Ladies are turning out.
So something I wanted to ask you before we get into any of them. Do you understand voidable contracts?
I think I do.
I've researched it a bit, and it's really inconclusive.
My understanding is a voidable contract means that you can be cut at any time, and it doesn't, like, it just, like, voids a contract. It doesn't, you can't, like, because, like, in a normal situation, I sign a contract, you cut me, you still got to pay me out, despite me not being on the roster anymore. So you can clear up your roster space, you can add a new player, but you're still paying me.
Yeah.
A voidable contract, in my understanding, is that you don't have to pay me. You cut me, we're gone.
Okay.
That's my understanding.
That's pretty much the gist of it. From what I read, it's basically a way to save salary cap. So instead of having your base salary and your cap hit, instead of that being the normal amount, like the $8 million, whatever, they changed that to your signing bonus, I believe, and then they changed the cap hit to being I think 1.19 or something like that. For all the years that are voidable. So if you say you had a big contract, like the Taysom Hill contract, we'll talk about that real quick.
$140 million for 4 years for a gadget player,
and this is also one thing I don't understand where the $140 million comes from. It doesn't even show up on his contract. His contract is the first year he is guaranteed 8.4 and ends up being with the signing bonus $12 million. The second year he has 7.7, but that's a dead cap hit is what they call it. So if he going with the voidable contract, the first year that you get into that contract, you technically become a free agent and you have to sign a deal with your team again, or they release you. They don't have to pay you for the rest of it, and then whatever money you sign up for, it just gets added on top of the deal. So for he is guaranteed the 8.8, the 12.29, I believe, for the first year, and then the second year, if they cut him, they still have to pay $7.7 million, and that's it. And then the rest of the 4 years is cut. But there's no actual amount that they have to pay them for the other 3 years. So I don't know where they're coming up with $140 million. I think it's $140 million possible if they give them the max amount every single year.
I think the hidden details are also in the incentives. I don't know what the incentives are, but I think I did read that there were a lot of incentives. So I think that 140 over 4 years, quick math, that sounds like 35 a year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 35 a year. So 35 a year, that first year you said, what, 8 mil contract, and you said 12 after signing bonus?
It takes 12 cash is what it said. So
was it 12 and 8, or was it...
no, 12 total.
12 total. So if it's 12 total, that to me sounds like he probably has just over 20 mil in incentives that he could get, depending on how many games does he play. Is he possibly the starter for the whole season? Do they make the playoffs with him? I feel like all of those levels get considered in there as possible incentives leading up to, does Taysom Hill lead the New Orleans Saints to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl next year? If that's something that happens, they'll probably in that contract end up paying him out like $30 million for the first year. But if none of that happens and he keeps this role that he's had the whole time and Jameis Winston scoops the starting job, he's just a backup quarterback that they use in gadget plays that is not worth $140 million. Not in any world is he worth $140 million, especially when Dak Prescott got $160. That's so tough.
Yeah, definitely the incentives. I forgot about the incentives and how much that's the other thing about the difference with NFL and NBA is, I don't know, it doesn't even seem like the NFL has a fucking players association. They sign voidable contracts. This guy's got a 1-year contract, but it's a 4-year, $140 million. It's a 1-year contract that you can get voided at any fucking time and you lose all your money.
Yeah.
So if he gets injured this year, he didn't sign a $140 million contract, he signed a $12 million one. Whereas in the NBA, you sign a contract, it's a contract.
For most players, it is a contract. Well, you have to consider that Taysom Hill is not a $140 million man. He is, like the contract says, he's barely a $12 million man. He is not worth that much. So for a player like him, he could sign just a $10 million contract somewhere. Yeah. Or he could sign a contract that has this hope in some alternate reality of him possibly pulling in $140 million. I mean, it's always nice to have extra incentives that you can
I don't
hit.
have the numbers on here right now, but Tom Brady, he also signed that same type of the void contract. Tom Brady. So we're not like Taysom Hill. I fully understand what you're saying there, because he could get cut and they'll pay him out and they probably would be okay. It's not something where you're losing, like, you might lose potentially a great player, but you don't really know at this point. Tom Brady, you don't have the option of cutting him. He cuts you. if he doesn't want you on the team, you aren't on the team. The owner's not talking to you before they talk to Tom. So, but he's signing those contracts. So for me, when I look at that, it seems like the idea behind it is, like, the way that they probably sell it is that we sign these kind of contracts so that if something happens to that player, the team isn't held back cap wise, and we can afford to we get rid of that money and we can afford to move forward if there is an injury or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's all and well. If the team was broke, like if the team didn't have money, if the people running the team can't afford to pay 52 of the most expensive employees on the planet, and also have a full arena, pay the rent, own the arena, whatever they have, pay all the venues, they can afford all that and make money every fucking year. And you're saying that you need, this guy, if he makes an extra $80 million over the next 3 years, we're not going to be able to have a team, guys. So I think he should only make $12 million and then potentially make this. If he does everything perfect, he should make his money back. But that's to save us, save the team, because we don't have enough to save. That's fucking bullshit. See, I hate that.
I think the incentive contracts are good to a certain degree.
Incentive, yes.
I think the thing with avoidable contracts is, I think from what I heard, the salary cap is going down. All I've seen over the last couple of weeks is people restructuring and restructuring contracts. I think these are all just cheeky little loopholes that someone noticed, and now everyone else is regurgitating to try and cut back on the salary cap, because there's a lot of teams that are fucked for cap this year. And it's like, you're $80 million over the cap. What you gonna do?
Yeah.
And like everyone's just restructuring just to save their team cap. And guys like Tom Brady, he's made $300 million in his career. He doesn't give a fuck.
The moment he retires, he's gonna make another $300 million.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
Everything he has now is collectible.
Yeah,
like he immediately makes more.
I slept in this bed, bought it for $2K. Slept in this bed, cool. It's worth $100,000 now.
Honestly,
old used Tom Brady bed.
At least $100,000. You could
right. That's where we're starting the market. We'll see how much.
That's
the fans
a starting
want.
bid on 24-hour bidding. Like, we're not talking the end all,
right?
But yeah, like for that you're right with Tom Brady. He has that, but it's for me it's the non guaranteed and the guaranteed. Like I think one of the guys for the Patriots, he signed, I think, a $50 million contract and $35 million is guaranteed. I'm like, then that's not a $50 million contract. That's a $35 million contract with a $15 million incentive on it. Because if you sign the line,
incentive to play the whole season.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you don't play the whole season, so if I get injured, that's $15 million out of my pocket. Why the fuck? Like, I signed a contract, and you're gonna have a stipulation that if I hurt myself, I lose all the. Like, if I hurt myself for you, you save $15 million. So what incentive do you have to fucking have a better training facility then?
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you a story that is exactly why this is a thing. So don't quote me on the exact numbers, because these contracts are a long time ago and I do not remember the exact contract numbers. So I think this dates back to early 2000s. Albert Haynesworth, do you remember him?
No.
Big D tackle, and he played in Tennessee, I want to say, and he was a beast. Fucking, he was the man. This guy ran the show, probably best D tackle in the league at the time. Free agency comes up. He got all these contract offers, and he was like, just shopping around. He didn't take the contract that had the highest value. He took the contract in Washington that had the highest guaranteed payout. He signs that contract. He shows up out of shape, acts like a complete asshole, and just completely shits the bed. He's a horrible player. He was like failing his like fitness tests. Like he was just a complete mess. And it comes out that from like former teammates, you're basically saying his goal that he had told certain people was to sign that contract, do absolutely everything in his power to piss off his team and get cut, because they still pay him that $30 million. I think it was like a $50 million contract, 30 guaranteed. Do absolutely can to sign that contract and then get cut by that team. They still pay him 30, and then he can go and sign another guaranteed contract with another team and take that money too and do the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
And at the same time, put zero fucking effort in and never play never really have to play at all for the rest of that time and just get a quick cash grab, maybe makes 30, 40, 50 mil quick, and then he just floats on it for the rest of his life. That was his goal. He played hard through his rookie contract to get to that free agency point, and then he just fucked them all.
Fuck them. Like,
yeah, but that's the thing.
That's their fault. That's their fault for signing him. If I hire somebody to do a job for me, I say I'm going to pay you this wage. He shows up and he does everything wrong. That's on me. I looked at him. If I didn't do enough due diligence to find out or talk to his former teammates to say, hey, like what kind of guy is this? Like blah blah blah. Like I just want to know. If I don't do my due diligence and I hand a guy $30 million, that's my fucking problem. That's not the rest of the league. That's not every other player. How many people can you think of that have done that?
I mean, I only know
an outlier makes the rule. That's what
happens in the NBA if someone gets cut, like if they're a complete bum, they just lose all the money.
Gilbert Arenas, he gets kicked out of the league or get kicked off the team because he shows up. He was wilding, but he had a guy that on his team that had owed him money. He brought a gun. He had a gun in the locker room, so he gets kicked out of the league. He had just signed, I think, like the highest contract at the time, like 150 something mil, I believe, and he gets cut. Washington, then I think it was the Washington Wizards. I think it was over 4 years. They end up just extending it so that it's over a 9-year period. They pay off all that money to him. He's owed all that money because he put in the work. He deserved the money when he got the contract. That's what a contract is. It doesn't matter if you enjoy it. If Tom Holland wants to be Spider-Man, if he doesn't like it after the first movie, he can't leave. He signed a contract. He didn't sign a contract that says, oh, I'll play one Spider-Man, and if I like it, I'll do 2 more for you. Or if I only like the next one, I'll do that one. And then maybe I'll stay around for the third one. Contracts are supposed to be guaranteed. This is what we sign the dotted lines. Not sign the dotted lines until you don't like it anymore. If you don't like it anymore, you can just scribble off my name, put somebody else's name on there.
See, I think the thing with the NFL contract is like injuries, getting hurt doesn't lose you your contract. It's not really like that. It's not like, oh, I signed this big contract and I broke my leg, I can't play the season, I lose it all. It's more like I don't want to play because of COVID. Like it was my choice to not play, or, you know, acting like an asshole and getting cut. That was their choice. It's like, whose choice is it? Is the player does something like gets kicked out of the league? Does that team want to pay that contract? Of course not. But they had to because of the contract structure. But the NFL, they're not giving that guaranteed money. You did something. It was your fault that you can't play. It was your choice or your actions had repercussions. Then you lose your contract. Versus if we, like Carson Wentz, we like you, we want to give you all this money. You've done nothing wrong. You've been trying. You just suck. We can't just not pay your contract. They still have to pay his contract. I mean, they did get rid of him, but they still pay that contract out because they signed him for that. But
if it's a non-guaranteed though, they don't have to pay the extra money on top of it, do they?
If it's non-guaranteed, like all that extra money, they still have to pay them if they cut that player. If it was the team's choice.
If you're
thing with Haynesworth though is Haynesworth was doing this all in
causing a problem. For him 100%, like this makes sense. But I feel like he's the exception.
Yeah, Carson Wentz is what I understand is a good guy. He's just not playing well, so they don't want him. They said fuck him. We got Jalen Hurts now, so they got rid of him. They're still going to be paying for him despite him playing in Indianapolis.
But only the guaranteed amount though.
I think they pay out the whole contract because they cut him. I think. I don't know. Honestly,
that part. If they pay out the non-guaranteed just because, then I don't understand. Like it doesn't make sense that they would, because if I'm a business guy and I sign a contract with somebody and I say I'll pay you $50 million if you perform really well, but I'm going to guarantee 35. If you start not working well, there's no way I'm paying you the full 50 because I don't have to. Like why would they if they don't have to? Yeah. And that's what my thing is that when you have an option of not paying somebody something, that lets anybody kind of look at it like, do I want to? And why would they? Nobody would want to pay somebody. There's certain teams that probably would, like if say Kansas City, they go to the Super Bowl 4 times in a row, let's just say, and they decide to not pay Travis Kelce the non-guaranteed part of his contract. Now everybody on their roster is like, holy fuck, they don't care at all. And everybody knows that this championship caliber team doesn't actually care about the players. They just have them and it happened to work out. Now people look at that a weird way. But a team that's like a bottom dweller, if I was like the Detroit Lions, if I'm 3-13 at the end of the year, or 3-14, whatever, I'm going to be cutting as much non-guaranteed money as I can because I need as much as I can for the next year because I clearly don't have a squad.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. It just seems like it opens up doors for people to be cheesy and steal money out of guys' pockets.
I think you're right. There definitely is that potential. I think the thing though is free agency is a pretty big deal in the NFL, and if you have a shitty reputation, players aren't going to sign with you. Like, you never hear about a big signing in the Jets. No one's like a big free agent signing for the Jets. They got traded there by their team.
Yeah.
But no one's a big signing in the Jets because the Jets suck. Everyone knows the Jets sucks. There's no big signings in Houston. It's just like Mark Ingram signed.
They lose people and they just don't let people leave.
Right? Mark Ingram signed a contract in Houston, but Mark Ingram got cut by the Ravens because he's kind of trash when they have a rookie that's better. So, no one big signs at those teams. Yeah. It is what it is. Why? Because everyone knows the organization's ass. Everyone wants out of there. Why would they want to go there?
And as well, I don't know, but I'm assuming those lower organizations probably don't have as much money coming in. They're not getting as much revenue, playoff revenue, so they can't offer as much guaranteed money. So if one side can offer you $100 million guaranteed and this side can offer you $70 million at the most, you're going to take the $100 million every single time.
I think the salary cap is a certain way that...
I'm not saying $100 million as a real word, because this isn't basketball where they make real money.
Well, I think it's kind of bold to say. I'm pretty sure the NFL trumps the NBA in financials.
per player? Are you kidding me? LeBron's got he's making $45 million this year.
There's 5 guys on the team you got to pay.
Exactly. Per player is what I'm talking about. How much does he
make a season?
I think at least 45.
That's just a quarterback. It's not that special.
Which one?
Mahomes makes 50.
So one quarterback makes more, and you're going to argue that the rest of them...
Mahomes, Rodgers, Dak Prescott...
What's the lowest amount that they make?
The lowest amount?
Yeah.
I think league minimum's $250K.
Yeah, I think league minimum's $3 million. From bottom to top, NBA players make way more money than football players, 100%.
Well, that's because there's not as many people to pay.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm saying, that's where you make the real money.
If you're trash and you make it in the NBA, you actually, there's there's a higher floor because there's not there's only so many spots. That's the thing. There's so many jobs.
Yeah. The floor for football is quite low.
We got 14 roster spots plus your practice team.
15 in the practice.
15 in a practice team.
And then the G League as well.
You have 55 in a practice roster. It's definitely a lot more people. So yeah, if you're not good enough, you're not going to make it in the NBA because there's too much competition, not enough jobs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see that, but I'd say the top end players in football probably make just as much, if not more. Because they don't. I think the NBA has these max contracts and super max contracts.
Yeah.
There's no such thing. The contracts should get bigger.
Well, wasn't the 160 that Dak Prescott, isn't that one of the higher contracts?
I think it's definitely one of the higher contracts, but Mahomes just signed a $500 million contract.
Okay. That's
Mahomes is a
decent
$500 million man.
That's decent money. How many years?
I think it goes on top of the end of his rookie contract because I don't think he was finished those times.
Oh.
I think it locks him in though over like the next like 10 years though. So it's like
that's the thing.
It's like 50 plus mil I think a year or something. Like it's scary a lot of money.
Giannis signed like I think like a 5-year for like close to 300. I don't know the exact, but that's the other thing is that in NBA it's locked in. You do 4 years at most, or a supermax is 5 years. Mm-hmm. So then it makes it so that when you have that guaranteed money, if somebody does get injured, it's 4 years that it affects you. It's not like in hockey where they're signing people to fucking 15-year contracts. You get injured.
15-year contracts.
I think 10 years was one with
that's crazy.
With one of the guys from Detroit, and then he got injured. But anyways,
that's crazy.
Yeah, that's so how bold they were back in the day. They thought people were just gonna last 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, nowadays, you could do a 10-year, because people are playing, like, people are winning Super Bowls.
I still wouldn't even do 10 years.
No,
like,
I would never
they're
do
rolling
10.
the dice on Mahomes. As good as Mahomes in, 10 years.
It's a fucking long time. It's a commitment.
The thing is, the wear and tear on a person's body, you never know. Like, all it takes is one good shot to Mahomes' knee, and he's ruined.
And that is why they went and picked up Thuney. they watched that Super Bowl like, no.
Yeah.
That's a $500 million running around for his life.
Yeah.
Get me some fucking help.
If he has to start playing like Sam Darnold, there's a problem. He will not last that contract.
If you say Patrick Mahomes and Sam Darnold in the same sentence again, I'm gonna slap you. We cannot be even referencing them together. But that's the thing. Like, yet again, you look at that signing. That's smart. Like, New England didn't put the franchise tag on him, so they scooped him right away. Russell Wilson's still sitting on his thumb. Like, please, somebody, anybody, can we sign anybody to help me? No? Okay, I'll just sit here and get fucked up all year.
There was only one signing I saw in the last little bit that I was like actually like happy to see, and it's because the man deserves something. And I know it's another 1-year contract, but Cam Newton got paid.
Yeah.
14 mil for a year.
Yeah. Where the fuck are you at now, kid? I ain't no free agent now, kid.
Right? Like,
come back to my camp.
I just was happy to see it because like he signed for bricks the last contract, and it's like it was so disrespectful to pay a former league MVP that kind of money. Not to mention a starting quarterback. There's so many starting quarterbacks. There's
so many backup quarterbacks.
Backup quarterbacks making more money.
I think
than him.
Winston, didn't he sign for 12?
Yeah, probably.
He signed for 12, and he was a third string last year that didn't play.
It's just crazy that they paid him that kind of money, and then this year it's like he earned his paycheck for sure. I think he led the league in quarterback rushing touchdowns.
Yeah,
like they weren't good, but he's better than 700K.
He got a lot of the flack for the team, but the entire team wasn't good. They didn't have their receiving core.
They
was
never do.
Pretty much the same as it always has been without Tom Brady.
And he's the best.
Tom Brady would get the best out of every player.
Yeah.
Cam Newton, he's a great player. He's not. You can't put him and Tom Brady. They don't play the game anywhere similar.
He's a better running back than any running back they had on the team.
1,000%. So like he definitely earned his money, and then New England's going out there. They're like, okay, let's fucking retool, because clearly we can't just trade Tom Brady out for somebody and be like, oh, let's see if it works.
But you can trade Tom Brady out, and he's a fucking champion.
Yeah, yeah. You pick up a greatness, you can turn into a champion.
I saw something talking about Odell going to Tampa, and I was like, no, they can't have 4 Pro Bowl core receivers. Like, there's no way. They just franchise tag Godwin, I think. They did. They're
bringing the whole squad back. Gronkowski signed. I think Barrett, everybody.
Yeah, they're running it back for sure. Like, they're not trying to like.
Or I think Fournette didn't re-sign yet. But, like,
they'll pay him.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
He wants to play. He knows what they're capable of. They just won a Super Bowl. Of course he wants to play with the GOAT one more time.
Tom Brady's like, hey, let's run it back. Nobody's like, no, bro, I'm going to try somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, no, you sign on Tom Brady's dotted line.
You just got to feel what it was like to be a champion. This is what Tom's been doing from time, bro.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what's actually crazy story I heard about? I feel bad because I'm not going to remember his name, and that's going to make this not as impactful. But
Tough.
There's a dude that I heard about who grew up. I don't think he might be the same age as us. Anyways, he grew up huge Pats fan.
You gotta stop hitting the table. I'm having an aneurysm.
Bang.
Getting my PTSD coming back.
Dude was big Tom Brady fan, or big Patriots fan, big Tom Brady fan. He's actually, I think, a bigger fan of like their long snapper in New England. That's just like, I don't know, that's just who he looked up to.
That shows how big of a football fan he is.
Apparently, when he met the guy, he's like, yeah, I had your jersey. He's like, what? Why?
My parents don't have my jersey.
He says, I think you're the only person outside of my family and friends that have my jersey. But cool, I guess. He just so irks. But anyways, so he was a big Patriots fan. And then he conflicted between football and lacrosse, stuck it out with football, and then learned how to long snap, played in college, I think at a D2. And then he's just been working a normal job for a long time, and then he's just been going to camps, and he'd get signed to a practice roster, and then get cut, signed to a different one the next year, get to maybe another week further than the last time, then get cut. And he was just slowly getting cut every year, and then finally he made it onto a team, and he made it through the preseason. They had no one else, so he wasn't competing with anyone, and he made it through all the way to the regular season, didn't get cut. Played a season, second year with the team, Tom Brady comes to town and he wins a fucking Super Bowl. What? Tampa Bay kept this guy and he won with them? That's crazy.
That's a miracle chance. That's
right? The odds of you, he's been working his job and grinding in the gym to keep it up so he could potentially get a job. That whole time, it was a 5-year stretch, I think.
NFL ready and having a 9 to 5 is fucking crazy.
That's insane. And then he finally gets on a team. He's like, yeah, he's on the fucking Bucks. But whatever, he's got a job. He made the NFL. Yeah. And then Tom Brady comes and it's a 180 and all of a sudden you're a Super Bowl champion. And he's like, yo, what the fuck?
2 years ago I was working at CVS. I'm a Super Bowl champion.
It's funny you say that because we don't even have CVS here.
Yeah. I saw it in Vegas one time. Yeah. It's
American. We watch enough American stuff that we know.
Honestly, I don't know anything about Canada.
There's no CVS in Canada.
I know nothing. Everything
but the joke was good.
It worked.
That's hilarious. Any other?
Let's see. Anything else we got on here? Russell Wilson. Oh, we're talking about Taysom Hill. We're talking about Jameis Winston. Drew Brees hanging up the cleats. How do we fucking forget this?
You know what?
Who dat?
What a career the man had. I have a lot of respect for him because I was low-key a Saints fan for a long time.
Oh, man, when that song came on.
Remember the Who Dat?
We would sit in that basement for hours back to back playing that. Oh.
We used to bump that Who Dat Nation song.
Who that say they gonna beat them Saints?
We used to bump that so much. It was a banger, though.
It went hard.
It went hard, and the Saints were nice back then. It was...
Got that Reggie Bush. They had squad.
They had a squad.
I think they won that year as well. But.
Yeah.
that definitely helps.
That's why
that makes it a good way to be a fan.
That's why it was huge because they won the Super Bowl. Yeah. But it was cool to watch it too because it's I'm pretty sure that's their only Super Bowl. So seeing a team other than Tom Brady win, seeing a team other than the the Steelers or the Colts make it to the finals and win it. It was nice to see.
Yeah.
And Brees has just been the man for so long, and he's been so humble and so kind, and anytime you watch film of him after games with his kids, it's so wholesome, and
100%.
Even after that conference final with Tom, and he got fucking cooked, and then it's Tom came out after to come talk to him, and just
they were just hanging, he definitely knew at that point. But, he just have the kids going around, throwing balls back and forth, just hanging out at the end of the game.
Tom's throwing a little pass to Drew's son in the end zone. That was so wholesome, and it was I loved it. It was awesome.
I didn't write down the injuries, but did you hear about how injured he actually was?
Yeah, his wife made a post. He had broken ribs and shit.
Yeah, broken ribs, busted leg, torn this, torn that. It's like, holy fuck, you couldn't even tell. Like you could tell, you could see like a little bit by the fact he didn't perform under the lights.
Well, he couldn't even throw the ball down the field anymore. He was fucked up. They were letting him get beat up.
But I got a couple kind of crazy stats that I wrote down about Drew Brees. So he's had so in the NFL, 12 people have had 5,000 plus yard seasons. Drew Brees has 5 of those. 5 of 12.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
He's insane.
You think, like, Michael Thomas, who else? Have they had anybody at that same caliber?
So here's the deal. Michael Thomas obviously went off the year before, not last year. Last year it was hurt the whole year. Yeah. It was a complete waste of our time in fantasy. I was very butthurt.
I'm so glad I traded him.
I'm so butthurt I got it. Anyways, big waste of time. Drew Brees versus Tom Brady. Tom Brady makes everyone better because he knows how to, he knows when the ball needs to be where. The thing with Drew Brees is he's just slinging that ball. He is always throwing. They throw so much, and the thing is he's had Pro Bowl receivers. He's had Marquise Colston. He's had Brandon Cooks. He's had Jimmy Graham. He's had all these guys, but they're only who they are because Drew Brees was slinging the rock.
Yeah.
He made them Pro Bowlers, and they went on to other teams and did their thing. And most of them, I think Brandon Cooks, pretty solid, number 2 receiver on pretty much every team. I think he got, he's the only player to have 1,000-yard season on two different teams back-to-back years. He had 1,000 yards here, nice. Goes there, gets another 1,000 yards. I think he's the only person to do that. I don't even know where he is right now. He's just I don't know.
If I had to guess, Houston.
I think he's in Houston.
If I had to guess, Houston.
No, I think he left Houston, or honestly, I don't even know. But that's the thing. And even Jimmy Graham, I know he went to Seattle for a bit. After he left Seattle, I don't know where he went.
Yeah, I don't even know if he's in the league.
Marquise Colston, what happened to him? I don't know.
And then I was even thinking about with the yards as well. He's also Reggie Bush was he was a receiving running back too, wasn't he? A little bit.
Yeah.
Alvin Kamara, he was a so basically even the running back.
They had Mark Ingram, who's not really receiving running back. But, but yeah, they.
It was very pass orientated because you have Drew Brees you can trust,
and that's the thing.
That's gonna work.
Drew threw a lot of high volume. That's why he's hitting 5,000 yards so much.
Talking about high volume, I think he had. I can't remember the exact. I didn't write down the exact number. It's on my phone, but he has the most completions of all time. I think Tom Brady is second and Peyton Manning's third, but. He also has the top 3 single-season completions in the NFL.
He slings the rock.
471 in 2016, which is the record. 468, 3 off of that. He did that in 2011, 5 years prior. And then 456 in 2014. The top 3 completions in a season. That's crazy.
It's a little absurd.
Especially because, I guess now is more pass heavy now than it ever has been. But he still has those numbers, and those weren't I guess the 2016 is getting really into the full pass heavy, but 2011, 2014 that was still kind of a run heavy time. So that's ridiculous. And then the stat that was just kind of the longevity of this one was October 18th, 2009 till November 25th, 2012. 54 consecutive games with a touchdown. That I think the closest after it was 10 double digits away, and that's crazy.
He's a machine, especially when he was in his prime. He was a machine.
Yeah, especially because when you look at a quarterback now, they're mobile. They're kind of creating a little bit extra. So then it once you break the pocket, you have guys moving out of position a little bit, but he just stood in there. They ran whatever routes they were going to run, and he made it work at all times. And he did it for, 20 seasons?
Yeah. See, the thing with being mobile in football as a quarterback is it can be a deadly weapon. We've seen it time and time again, especially in the more modern game. It can be a salvation, like Russell, where he just like buys time till he can find it.
He's like, oh, they got past every lineman? Okay, I better run.
Right, like you see Donovan McNabb, not particularly fast. Like, he was quick, obviously, for one of the faster quarterbacks in the league at the time, but he wasn't running like Michael Vick was, but he's extending the play forever. You've got, even Ben Roethlisberger in his prime. I remember for a long time, anytime you saw Ben Roethlisberger leave the pocket, I'm like, fuck, what's going to happen now?
Something's going on.
He's delaying it. His receivers will get open. He will find them, and it will probably connect. And he won Super Bowls off that shit. So the thing is those things the mobility can be a really strong asset, but any quarterback that's ever been worth his salt made his money throwing the ball. Like, even some of I think of Randall Cunningham. Iconic quarterback, played with the Eagles. Everyone remembers him because he was Michael Vick before Michael Vick. But where did he have the most of his success? In Minnesota. What was he doing differently? He was playing a pocket-style quarterback. He was not running like he was running in Philadelphia. And him just throwing the ball, he achieved more throwing the ball than he ever did running the ball. He didn't get his hype.
Was that the same time as Randy Moss was there?
I think
I don't
maybe
know my basketball.
I feel like maybe his last year had Randy Moss there, but I think Randy Moss mostly played with Dante Culpepper. I just can't remember if he got there. You know what? I can't remember if he got there the first year or the second year. But I think he mostly played with Dante Culpepper.
Okay.
But I know that he did have Chris Carter. Chris Carter is also a Hall of Fame receiver. Okay. So he did have a Hall of Fame receiver.
Yeah, I was just thinking because I remember I've been watching a little bit of NFL Network. So I had the Randy Moss where, like, the offense was Randy go deep. And he'd outrun them and be bigger than them. So I was like, okay, it makes a little bit of sense that he's got some good yardage when you got a guy that just runs real far. But no, that, like you said, it's the pocket. The top three quarterbacks, like, I don't know the past, like the Joe Montana, Steve Young, like, I don't know them as well, so I don't think of them. But mine are always like Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. Like, those are kind of the big four. And all of them, you think of their arms, you think of the just completions. Basically, you think of if they have it, you have a chance. And as much as Tom Brady has shown that he is the one that he had the best chance, the rest of them, you always felt like you were still in the game when they were there.
I feel like people sleep on Aaron Rodgers. I feel like his lack of wins.
That's the thing.
Start yawning when
I'm trying to save you so we can go back to this camera for a second. But like, that young was dude.
Like,
late in the night here, folks.
Besides his one Super Bowl, he doesn't have like the best postseason success. Like, how many years has he lost in the championship game? It's pretty tough. But like, he's so nasty. If you look at any production stats, he's like the most efficient quarterback of all time.
Yeah, his touchdown to turnover ratio is fucking insane.
Yeah, he's crazy. So to me, it's like, you got to give the man his credit. Like, maybe you can't.
That's why I threw him in the 4.
Yeah, but maybe you can't put him in like Peyton Manning's category yet, because Peyton was all that and a little bit more. Like 5 league MVPs is pretty gross. But he just won, I think it was his 3rd one or his 2nd one. I can't remember. But
I'm going to say 3.
I think it might be his 2nd. But still, even winning the MVP more than once, that's a huge accomplishment in its own. People, like, that's not very few people. And like, you think of how many quarterbacks come through the league, and there's maybe only like 12 that have probably done that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, he's an absolute beast. Is he gonna? It's tough because now he's got to get through Mahomes and Brady if he wants to do it.
He needs at least one more. He gets one more. He gets into that. He has all the stats he needs. He just needs to prove he can get that extra win.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to prove anything to us. Like, we're fucking nobodies. But if he wants to prove to like the Tom Brady's, to the Peyton Mannings, that I'm in your same class. I belong in this conversation. You guys, like, Tom has more championships, you have more MVPs than me, but I've got 2. I've got 2 at least. now you can start talking. But until then, he's still in the same conversation as Drew Brees, where they were great, but they weren't good enough. They weren't good enough to break that top echelon.
Yeah, the thing with Drew Brees though is Drew Brees is going to have the longevity stats. Aaron's got to get there still. I know he's got time. He's a younger man. I mean, he's not that young, but like compared to Drew,
he looks like the oldest person in the NFL. Like when and Tom Brady are near each other, I'm like, there's no way that Tom Brady's older than this guy.
Yeah, I know. But he does have a lot of years to like get there, and I think he will. I think he'll get there, no problem. But especially with how efficient he's being and playing with Devontae Adams is gross. Yeah. I think he'll get there. It's just it's gonna be a matter of time. But I think people disrespect him a lot.
It's what everybody does. It's people only count rings. Right? People count rings. You can be the best possible player in the world, but if you don't have as much rings as the next guy, well, you're a little bit lower.
So
a little bit lower.
God, just reminded me. This last one before we call it. I got an argument with this dude in our group chat about some fucking shit. I mean, we get an argument like every other day about shit, and it always comes down to us just like basically just like giving up because we're tired and he won't admit he's wrong.
Half the group turns off the notifications just because it's like, okay, we've been hours at this.
Well, it was like I was supposed to do something that particular night, and I told Hope, it'll be like half an hour and I'll be done. And next thing you know, it's like 2 hours later. So I'm like,
it's 3 in the morning,
and I'm just fuming. I'm like, this motherfucker. Like, I'm just so pissed because like he won't admit he's wrong. I know I'm right, so I don't know what to deal with this guy. Like, he's just pissing me off.
I know I'm right.
Yeah,
so
I know
I must be wrong.
And do you know what? And it always comes down to like who's better for what reason, and like there's always so many variables. Yeah, and do you know what?
You pick and choose.
And your boy, I literally spent like 3 hours after that argument, fucking fuming, sitting there making like this formula on fucking like a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet and like entering all their stats, and I have all these variables to assign points to certain totals and ding 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 ding, and have all these formulas and sums and multipliers and all this stuff going on just to like come to some final conclusion. It's not even done yet because it's taking hours.
Yeah, this one doesn't make sense for me. Delete.
Well, that's no. I have to try and find a way to tweak it like in a certain way where it's like it'll work for like you enter a D lineman stat in like Aaron Donald, and it'll give you a rating,
like a true value idea,
a rating that's because like I look at Aaron Donald and I see he's had a short career because he's still young, but he's had the most dominant career a D lineman has ever had. He's been all pro every year except his rookie year, and he's probably the best D lineman of all time. And I think if his sack numbers can get up there, I think it'll be undisputed.
Yeah.
Now, and he's a 3-time defensive MVP or defensive player of the year.
What is he like younger than us? Like is he even the same age as us?
I think he's younger than us. I think he's only played like 6 years, so if he's 21, he's probably like a year younger or something. Yeah. I don't know, but yeah, so he's got 3 defensive player of the years. That's already only the 3rd person to ever do that.
Yeah.
So he's bona fide Hall of Famer. Now, when you enter in a guy that played defensive tackle, even to the level he did, you enter in his stats versus a quarterback. Does it stack up? Because quarterbacks have way more stats, way more opportunities, way more measurable impact.
Yeah.
So I found some ways to like help with that and how to find stats that will work and tweak the formulas in a way that'll work. Honestly, at the end of the day, I'm a fucking nerd and no one cares. And I'll probably like throw this on once I have it like finalized or at least my first draft completed, because I'm not even done my first draft. I'm still trying to
first draft.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out how do I quantify unquantifiable values? Like, how do I assign values to things like, what was your impact? Were you on Madden covers? Like, were you an actor? Like, what kind of cultural impact did you leave after football?
Madden
well, like LeBron James, because like theoretically, this will transcend not just football but go to basketball.
Yeah.
If you enter in all of LeBron's numbers with a few tweak things that'll be more basketball oriented than football, like there's no sacks or anything.
Yeah.
Tweak out those little things. LeBron James is in Space Jam 2. Michael Jordan was in Space Jam 1. That's the kind of impact of star power that would be incorporated. But how do I assign that to a value versus, well, Antonio Brown was on the cover of Madden 18 or 19 or whatever.
Yeah, he went viral on Twitter like 4 times last year.
Yeah, like, did he leave in a good point of his career? Did he leave in a shitty point? Like Peyton Manning and Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis ended a champion. Peyton Manning was like a year away from being. I think he
went the year after.
The year after, yeah. So like, they're basically, we ended with our final image of these Hall of Famers saying they're champions.
Yeah.
We don't think anything else of them. But then you got guys like Emmitt Smith or Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson never won a championship, and he's been just piss on some bottom roster.
The greatest running back for like 3 years, and you forget what team he's on.
And now I'm like, where is he playing again? Washington? No, I think he's in Detroit now, and he's just been some piss running back that we pick him up on fantasy.
A third down back.
Yeah, exactly. He's just like an extra flex player. It's just like, is he trash? I don't know, but he's still there. So like,
yeah, he's not the same.
So guy. Is our lasting image? I mean, he hasn't retired yet, so who knows? But is our lasting image of him? He was really good, and then he was just shit for the last 5 years. Because like Emmitt Smith, he ended his career in Arizona being shit. Cool. So
yeah, I guess somehow you'd have to quantify that with like Aaron Donald because of the fact he's so young.
Yeah.
You'd have to somehow, like, whatever his value is, you'd have to almost have like a caveat where it'd be a little bit lower just because of the fact we don't know the.
But there's the other thing.
So many things.
Is this person a theoretical future Hall of Famer? Because you can look at Aaron Donald and be like, he's definitely a Hall of Famer. His greatness 100%. Value is increased by being a bona fide Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
But how does that compare to somebody that's already made the Hall of Fame? So there's different like ways to make different values. Because obviously I'm not going to give someone a potential Hall of Famer point or something if they're actually in the Hall of Fame. That's stupid. So like finding the ways to make these non-quantifiable things quantifiable. I've been looking at different things. I know this is a big word. I don't mean to like stress you out, but there's this thing called the Fibonacci sequence. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, the girl from Friends.
Anyways.
I've heard of it before. I don't know.
Basically, it's just like a mathematical phenomenon. The last two numbers added together equal the next one. So like 3 plus 2 is going to equal 5. 5 plus 3, because it was the previous number, that equals 8.
Okay.
8 plus 5 is 13. So it's 5, 8, 13. It goes up like that.
Yeah.
And so it will increase at a more fluctuated rate. Plus 3 spots is going to be way more than just plus 3 on the scale, right? So I've been looking at like different ways of weighting something, different ways to value something with like some kind of like more of a, exponential growth than a linear growth on like certain things, like a Super Bowl. Like winning 1 is cool, winning 2 is cool, 3, 4, winning 7 is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like things like that. So like how do you things like that, how do you make those values work? It's a lot of nerd talk, a lot of math talk, and it's me playing with formulas and tweaking formulas for hours on end. No one cares, but hey, that's what Dustin's been up to in his spare time.
What you do. And what we need you to be focusing on, though, is these Madden rosters. These all Madden rosters. Get that shit on Bleacher Report.
I haven't fucking touched this so long as you don't play Madden anymore. We've been friends.
None of us. Our fucking franchise is just going downhill.
We've simming the last fucking, I'm just waiting for him to be like playoffs, and I'm like, I'm back, baby. Whenever playoffs hits, I'll be back. But regular season, I don't give a fuck anymore.
Your Hall of Fame, because I've downloaded rosters on Madden, and they're like, oh, Hall of Fame, all action. You go on, it's like they got Larry Fitzgerald's like 45, and the exact stats he has right now. It's like, this isn't his ideal, and whereas what you were doing, you have all the shit. Yours could be sick, especially for next year coming in.
I literally, so to elaborate on Kyle said, I literally went through and established what I believe to be the best roster that that team could possibly ever have for all of their players, and given them a Madden rating so you can have an idea of what the team looks like if they were a Madden. Things is a lot of fucking work. I basically jacked up someone else's Bleacher Report's starting roster. I jacked it up. I went through and audited all of the things they did and what I don't agree with, changed people's ratings to what I thought they should be, and then get rid of people that I'm like, why the fuck is he here? No one cares about this dude that played in the 1930s, especially if he was not even that special. Fuck this guy. Versus some 300-pound behemoth from 2010. Obviously you want this guy. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Anyways, and then having to create so many people, and then running into barriers of how many creative people you could have, and now I have to basically delete real people and just take their place, change their name, their appearance, and everything to fit my new guy, and it's taking so much time that it's a lot. It really is a lot.
But it's necessary. If you get it all set up, we'll probably be at Madden 22. We'll probably be in a new franchise.
By the time I finish this, it'll be 3
We're gonna
years
play
from now.
one playoff
Because
series.
it's like probably like 100 hours worth of work that it takes. I'm waiting for a day that because like they used to have it back in the day where you can just like edit a team online, edit their skills, edit their attributes.
I remember you used to do that a lot.
Because like when they did that, they used to do it team builder in like NCAA back in the day, and I made a buttload of teams. It was so easy to make teams and uploading logos and stuff. It was sick. And now you just like creating teams in Madden these days is like the dumbest thing. You can't even like really. I don't even think they even really have a create a team feature. I don't even think that's a thing anymore. Just create a player. So like it's so brutal. The creativity in the game is gone. Madden's pretty much ass.
It's basically if it wasn't the biggest sport in the world, nobody would play that game. They've downgraded every year.
Yeah, they really fucked it up. Especially when you get teams like 2K that have like all the Hall of Famers just in the game already. And you can just like play a game of pickup, 1-on-1, 5-on-5, whatever, and you can just like pick any player from any decade from whatever you want, and it's just like easy.
Yeah, MJ versus Magic, sure. Yeah. Whatever you feel.
Whatever you feel. And Madden's like pulling teeth, pay $3,000 to have a sick Ultimate Team. Like, it's ass.
Yeah.
Madden sucks. Anyways, I think that's all we got for today.
Yeah.
Hopefully the video is not trash. Hopefully there is a video.
Yeah, hopefully we're going to find out soon.
Once again, like we said at the end of the last video, we won't know until we find out in like 30 seconds. Guess what? Last time we got fucked. Hopefully this time.
Yeah.
Hopefully this time we've chosen the right choices. So, anyways, that's all for tonight. Peace out.